What's up, guys? So today I got the request to do the Asus Zenfone 9 versus the 6A. I have a few more requests. I saw you guys' comments. Yeah, but this one is pretty interesting. So this could be an alternative, a pretty good alternative, the 6A to the Zenfone 9, because I was pretty surprised once you guys see the stills, the side-by-side pictures. Which camera do you guys think was better? Because I think that's a big deciding factor between these two phones. So the 6A costs around $400 to $450, and then the Zenfone 9 is going to cost you around $750. So those are pretty big price jumps here. But like I said, if you guys really prefer the Pixel shots here, the Pixel also has a pretty strong chip, and we're going to get into it as well. It could be a very nice alternative. It's not going to have as good of a luxury experience as the Zenfone 9, but let me know what you guys think. So starting off with the build quality, off the rip, actually both of these phones have pretty similar build qualities. They both actually have a plastic back, and they both are really nice. The Pixel has this sort of two-tone design, and you can't really see fingerprints on this one, which I really like. The Zenfone also has like a plastic bag, but it's got like this almost sandpaper-like texture. Feels really nice, really awesome. As you can see, two different camera setups. The Pixel has a very unique camera setup. Zenfone has these really nice big camera lenses as well too. They both actually have metal railings on them as well too. Believe it or not, the 6A is actually significantly, I won't say significantly, but it's noticeably taller, and the Zenfone is much thicker and it's a little bit heavier as well too. One thing you'll notice about the hardware is that you have a headphone jack on the Zenfone and you do not on the Pixel. And then the Pixel has IP67 dust and water resistant, while the Zenfone has IP68 dust and water resistant. Alright, so let's go ahead and look at the displays on both of these phones, because this is also could be a pretty big deciding factor for you. So the Zenfone has a 120Hz 5.9-inch display. It's Super AMOLED, and then it's HDR10+, and then it is 1080p 445 for the PPI with a max brightness of 1100 nits. The Pixel does have a 6.1-inch OLED display. It only has HDR, so no HDR10+, and then it is also a 1080p display, 429 for the PPI. So the Zenfone does have a better display. Now they pretty much look identical just to the naked eye, but like I said, you will notice that slight difference with that HDR10+. The Zenfone I think is brighter as well too, and it's definitely more compact than the Pixel's 6.1-inch display as well. They're both flat panels. They both pretty much have the same amount of bezel as well too. I do like the punch hole in the middle instead on the left hand side. Yeah, but the big deciding factor is the 120Hz versus the 60Hz display. I really like 120Hz. And yeah, so if you really need that silky smooth display experience, then I really love it. Just the scrolling and everything is just really smooth. The Pixel, like I said, it doesn't have a laggy screen like some people would say. It just feels like a normal 60Hz display for sure here. But yeah, if you need 120Hz, definitely go in the store. Like I always tell people, you've never seen 120Hz, go in a store and check out a phone with 120Hz. You may or may not like it. I think most people will. Once you get used to it, it's hard to go back to a 60Hz display. But I think the Zenfone definitely has the better display. Alright guys, so let's talk about the specs a little bit more. The Zenfone is running Android 12 with the Zen UI. It also has the Snapdragon 8 Gen Plus chip, Adreno 730, no SD card support, 128 gigs of internal storage, and 8 gigs of RAM. The Pixel is running stock Android, and it has the Google Tensor chip, Mali G78 GPU, also no SD card, 128 gigs of internal storage, and 6 gigs of RAM. Basically, you can see this new chip is going to beat out the first generation Tensor chip as far as the benchmarks go in the single and multi-core score. So yes, the Asus is going to be a little bit faster when it comes to just your daily activities and stuff like that. And the question is, well, how much faster? Really, it's really not by much, guys. You guys will be surprised. A lot of people always get shocked by this, but you can see just your daily app opening and stuff like that. You can see they kind of launch at the same time here, and even if I just start launching a ton of applications and stuff like that, they still are able to keep up with each other in terms of just not lagging and stuff like that. They both are very fast phones. So like I said, if you're a power user, you definitely might want that extra speed. You might want that that 120 hertz feel that's going to make it feel super fast. And gaming performance is definitely going to be a little bit better on these Zenfones, since you have that extra power for games that really are intensive, like that game like Genshin and stuff like that. But also on the flip side, the Pixel does a great job with gaming like Call of Duty Mobile, PUBG. It does just as good of a job for a casual gamer. So like I said, if you're not a hardcore power user, you may not need the extra power that the Snapdragon Gen 1 Plus chip is going to offer you. You may be fine with the Pixel. Like I said, it's very, very fast still for a mid-range phone. It actually beats a ton of mid-range phones when it comes to benchmarks. And games like PUBG and stuff, you can see the slight difference here. And really the Pixel should be able to max PUBG out. I just think it's just because it's a new chip. You can see on the Zenfone I can do HDR Extreme on here. But on the Pixel here, you know, it's just not as well optimized. It can still play pretty well. I have a gaming test if you guys want to check that out. It can do Smooth Extreme, but it can't do HDR Extreme. So you can't get that 60 frames at HDR, which is fine. But like I said, they both do a really good job with the gaming performance. It's just that the Zenfone is going to be a slightly more powerful device here. You guys will be surprised that the Pixel and the Zenfone kind of have the same sort of stock Android look. As you can see, the Zenfone does throw in a few customizations and stuff, but they're nearly identical when it comes to the OS. Like they're almost, you can see some like small differences and stuff like that. But like I said, they both pretty much, the Zenfone has pretty stock, Android experience. The only thing about software, so the Pixel will get 3 years of major OS updates and security patches, and the Zenfone only gets 2 years of major OS updates. That's the only thing I don't like about these Zenfones, is they need to get that extra year of support to, just be competitive as far as the software side. And Pixels typically will get major OS updates faster. So let's say when Android 14 comes out, it'll get it much faster than a Zenfone. Alright, so let's talk about some additional features here. So both these phones have stereo speakers, which we will check out. They both have fingerprint scanners, but I prefer the Zenfone by a mile. It's got the physical one, it's in the display, and it's just one of those ones that I've always preferred over in-display fingerprint sensors. The Pixel it's got an in-display fingerprint sensor, and it does work. It's not like it doesn't work, but it's not the fastest that I've used, but it does work. My only issue is that there's no face unlock on the Pixel. You do have face unlock on the Zenfone as well too. Let's go ahead and check out the speakers, and let's see which speaker sounds the best here. We'll go ahead and do the Zenfone. Definitely stronger bass on the Zenfone. The Pixel is actually just as loud as the Zenfone. It just doesn't have the strong bass like it does. Yeah, I definitely think the Zenfone is just tweaked a little bit better than the Pixel speaker. So you do have just a stronger bass quality on the Zenfone for sure here. They both have NFC as well, and like I said, they both have IP ratings. This one does have the better rating with IP68. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about the cameras. So the Zenfone does have a 50 megapixel standard, and then it has a 12 megapixel ultra wide. It can shoot in 8K 24, and then it can also shoot in 4K 120 frames as well too. And then you also have a 12 megapixel standard on here that can shoot in 4K 30. The Pixel has a 12 megapixel standard and then a 12 megapixel ultra wide on here. It can also shoot in 4K 60, and then it can shoot in 8 megapixel selfie cam that only shoots in 1080p 30 though. So you do have better specs on the Zenfone, but let me know, which stills do you guys prefer? Here's the Asus Zenfone. And here is the Pixel. All right, so let's talk about the battery life experience. So the battery life experience is pretty good on both of these devices here. The Pixel comes in with a 4,410 milliamp battery, only 18-watt charging though, and then the Zenfone comes in at 4,300, but it has 30-watt charging, so it charges much faster as well too. And you also have reverse charging. They both lack wireless charging. The battery experience I think is slightly better on the Zenfone. Not only does you get slightly better screen on time, but this phone's standby time is much better than the Pixel standby time as well too. So battery life, it just charges faster and it just lasts a little bit longer. Both of these phones are actually good at battery life. The Pixel can go all day and the Zenfone can go all day as well too. So these are actually two really good phones for battery life regardless. But the better battery situation is definitely the Zenfone.